A very good evening to one and all present here and welcome to today's event. We have with us our Chief Investment Officer, Mr. Sunil Damania, who would be covering 5 key trends in today's event. Towards the end, we'll also be having a Q&A session. Over to you, Mr. Sunil.
Hey, thanks a lot, Jason, and very warm welcome all of you. I think market is in a very, very different mood. Those who are sitting on the fence or those who were sitting on the fence must be really repenting. Ye kya ho gaya? And that's the beauty about the market. Time and again we have said that market is all about non-linear returns. The same market which was giving no clue that it can give returns in just 3 months back. March 2023 mein, there was no hope it was a very hopeless scenario kind of stuff. And in June 2023, we are at all-time high. And that's why I keep saying investors, don't go by the recent sentiments to decide investment decision. I distinctly recollect some of the investors when market crashed on 23rd or 24th December of 2022, many decided to move out of the market. Close कर दिया model portfolio या Mojo Infinity portfolio. Not many, but couple of them. And now they are realizing how bad the mistake they did. They must be really repenting. क्यों किया गलती है? And that's one of the reasons I keep saying the best way to create wealth from the equity market is to control your emotions. Fear and the greed are the biggest enemy for the investors, not only in India, across the world. And that's what exactly is happening. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to discuss about the 5 trend today. But before I start with my presentation, just a small disclaimer that this webinar is only for an education purpose. Whatever the stock that we recommend in this webinar, please consult before buying or selling those companies that we are discussing. Please consult your financial advisor before buying or selling them. This webinar is just to enhance your understanding about the equity market, or the sector, or the economy. And these are not recommendations from us, number one. Number two, equity market is all about volatility. It does carry a little higher amount of risk and you should be aware of that. And past performance is no indicator of future performance. With this 5 trend that I'm going to cover today, how did Indian market perform versus the emerging markets and the world market in 2023, because today is the last day of first half, am I right? How still demand and the world top 10 producers, what is the kind of production they did? Of course, this data is from Jan to May. Since June is not yet closed, the data we have taken from World Trade Organization. Another data I'm going to discuss about the occupancy rate at the hotels. Are they improving or are they declining? What is the amount of money that has been raised by the IPO market? Because Indian secondary market is at all-time high. Is that the same sentiment is reflecting in the primary market? We have observed that when the market is very, very buoyant, secondary market, primary market also reflects that kind of buoyancy in terms of amount raised. And what is the real estate inventory at the real estate in the real estate sector? So these are the 5 sectors. Some are related to the market, some are just gives an idea about what's happening overall in the economy or the world. So let me start with the first one. MSCI India, that is Indian market, performed in line with the emerging markets but underperformed the world market. And how? This is the world market, which is up by 100. We have basically made a base to 100 from 31st December 2022 till 29 June, because world market and emerging market would not have closed, am I right, till now. So 112.8. So it's basically the world MSCI world market is given 13%. This is all returns in dollar terms. So we are comparing apple to apple. Okay. Otherwise, someone would say, okay, what happens to the again? Something has went wrong with my this one. Okay. So we are comparing apple to apple, and these returns that what you could see on this one, they are basically in dollar terms. Can you just see the screen now? Indian market was underperforming very significantly. Can you see the blue line? Not only to the emerging markets but also the world market. And then look at the growth. And now, as of yesterday, Indian market was outperformed the emerging market, which was not the case till on 28th June. On one day, and this is all because of the smart rally that we see here has happened. While the emerging markets has moved in a very narrow range, Indian market did extremely well. So there is a kind of a divergence that we can see between the emerging markets and the Indian market since March. And that's why I keep saying again and again, non-linear returns. जो नहीं चला है उसका मतलब नहीं कि वो नहीं चलेगा आगे जाके, और जो चला है doesn't mean that वो आगे जाके भी चलेगा. That applies to market, that applies to sector, that applies to companies also. So that's one. So Indian equity market is coming back very, very strongly from that low that we saw in the month of March. And today we have outperformed the MSCI emerging market. Probability is very, very high that India market will not only outperform the emerging but even the world market in dollar terms. Where would that happen? Maybe in the most probably the second half of 2023. Now, the world's top till, and this of course the data we have taken from World Steel, that's an organization for the Association of World Steel Companies. What we have taken data from Jan to May, because June is yet to end, am I right? And if you look at it, and what you see the highlighted, the bar graph is of India in a green color, 56. What is this 56? Is a million tons that India produces. China is the big daddy, 45 million tons. But China production just went up by 1.6%. Can you see this? While India among top 10 steel producers has been the highest growth in first 5 months of 2023, purely because of India's domestic demand continue to remain strong. Otherwise, Japan has seen decline. So is the case with USA. Russia did see some improvement, but 1.9, not so much. So among the top, what we call 10 steel producing countries, 6 countries have seen decline in the production on Y from Jan to May. And India has been one of the highest growth that we have seen in this one, purely because of domestic demand continue to remain very, very strong. Having said that, prices are a little soft for the steel companies, and input cost has also come down to some extent. The numbers that will come out for June quarter are not likely to be very, very great. That's what my sense as we speak. Hotel occupancy rate. So what we have done, we have taken this data from the RBI, one of the reports published by RBI. And what has come as a big surprise to me also. So let me explain you this chart. What you see is a green is a hotel occupancy rate in 2019. From Jan till December 2019. What you see a blue line is a 2022, that is last year. 2019 matlab pre-COVID. And 2023 that you see is a red line. Now what has come as a big surprise that first time in 2023, the hotel occupancy rate is below 2019 level and even below 2022 level. In other words, the revenge, what we call traveling, seems to be coming under pressure. It's big now. One good thing that we must all remember is that India is going to host G20 summit, and a lot of foreign delegates will come and they will stay in hotels. Am I right? That should give some fillip to the hotel companies in terms of occupancy rate. And number one. Number two, India is going to host Cricket World Cup. I was reading one article which says that India is going to Ahmedabad is going to host India versus Pakistan World Cup match. And the price in the hotel in Ahmedabad has gone beyond 2 lakhs per day or for the 2 days kind of stuff, which is crazy kind of stuff. It has gone up by 6 or 7x kind of stuff. So there are two events that could really help to see this trend improving. But right now, the revenge travel that we were talking about has started softening. Of course, the higher prices and whatever the money people wanted to spend seems to be, and even there was an article which a research report I was reading which says that consumption seems to be coming under some amount of pressure, and that could also must be reflecting in the occupancy level. So first time in 2023, I again repeat, the hotel occupancy is below 2019 and below 2022. The fourth trend. Normally what we have observed is that when the secondary market does well, it also helps primary market to do extremely well. But not so this time. Because market was down till March or so, and it started rising, but still not that level which can give comfort level to a lot of entrepreneurs to come out with an IPO. 2022 Jan to June, 17 issues were there, raising 45,243 crore. In 2023, only 11 IPO with this very meager amount of 11, almost 25% of what has been raised in first half of 2022. Of course, Adani Enterprise that came out with an FPO, 20,000 crore. Had we included it, still it would be 31,000. Of course, the issue got fully subscribed and the management decided to refund the money to the investors. But buoyancy in the secondary market seems to be reflecting in the primary market. That's a trend number 4. And the trend number 5 is that inventory in the economy of the unsold houses has increased. You can see this trend which has been going up. It's moved up very significantly. And this is the number of units, that is lakhs. That's what you see the bar graph. And what you see the overhang, that the purple line is the number of months it will take to clear the inventory, and that number, that the graph is inching up. In other words, the higher rate of interest have started pinching whether real estate companies believe or don't believe the inventory level. And of course, another reason is that while the demand may be there, the sales may be there, supply does also increase very significantly, and that is basically in turn increasing the unsold inventory in the overall real estate. This is for the overall all across the country. It's not specific to one particular city or something. And of course, this data we have taken from Reserve Bank of India. So one cannot dispute the data. It's coming from the very reliable source. Now let's look at the positive trend. If you remember, the RBI did a stress test, or maybe they came out with the financial stability report day before yesterday. They are saying that the India's gross NPA, which used to be somewhere in 2018 at 11.5%, came down to gross NPA 3.9%. And what was 6.1 as a net NPA came down to only 1%. And there is a high probability that NPA will further come down. That's what the RBI is saying. So this is the best time for the banking sector, you can say, in terms of NPA. Very good thing is that provision coverage ratio has gone up. So if you go back last 20 to 25 years, this is the best ever net NPA India has ever achieved of 1%. So that's a very positive trend. And the negative trend is nothing but the India's exports by air cargo has come down very significantly. Am I right? It was 1.52 in FY 2021 purely because of the COVID year. So 2.2 came down to 2 million metric tons. It further came down to 1.52. Then it improved to 1.96 in FY 2022 and it came down to 1.86. And this reflects nothing but the slowdown in the global economy in terms of the demand, whether it's Europe or the US. What are the key news? And then we'll open the floor very quickly. India's oilseed export has gone up. The GST Council has decided to reduce the lithium GST on lithium-ion batteries. Electrical vehicle sales have come down. On one hand, while everybody is talking about the growth prospects in the future is electrical vehicle, but two-wheeler sales came down purely because of the subsidy not there. India's current account deficit declined to 0.2 purely because of falling crude oil prices. FIs are loving this country. 47,000 crore they've invested in the month of June and 16,500 crore this week. Sensex and Nifty did very well this week. Both crossed their all-time high. With this, let's open the floor for question answer. Over to you, Jason.
Okay, starting off this first question by Ankur, can the market see substantial correction due to any factors which are not known so far?
Ankurji, this probability will always be there in any market because market normally reacts very negatively when something which you're not expecting it. Am I right? Market will not react very much negatively for the non-factor. Like just to give an example, global financial crisis was not non-factor. COVID coming in was not non-factor. But did market react on the second wave? Answer is not of the COVID. Did it react very negatively? Third, no. But market knew that second wave ho sakta hai, third wave ho sakta hai. So that possibility can always be there, Ankurji. If there is something which is not known so far and it suddenly comes and hit us, market will react very, very negatively. How much dip that correction would be very difficult to say because it's depending upon what that news is, number one. Number two, how long that remained at low level is also a function of what kind of that negative news. So this probability, Ankurji, will always be there 365 days for the market to negative. Why? Because some negative news can always come from anywhere and can impact the market sentiment. But you can't make your strategy based on this kind of a fearful strategy. Otherwise, आप पैसा कभी लगा ही नहीं पाओगे market में. So this possibility is there. But whatever event that comes, what we have observed, the moment you invest in the equity market for 3 to 5 years, people don't talk about that events also. How many people ask me today about COVID? It just happened 3 years back. Am I right, sir? And market moved on substantially. So even if something has to happen, market has a strong ability to bounce back post that event in 3 to 5 years. And not only it will bounce back, it bounces back very strongly from that level. We all know what was the index, Sensex and the Nifty just before the COVID and what it is right now. Am I right? So don't worry too much about it. आप पैसा भी लगा ही नहीं पाओगे equity market में.
Okay, moving on to this next question by Nida. Hi Sunil, do you think small cap is overstretched don't you think profit booking करना चाहिए?
So, Nirav ji, we continue to believe that second half of 2023, mid and small cap will outperform the large cap. Now, your question is that profit book करना चाहिए? Maybe on a company level. But should you reduce your allocation to small cap? The answer is no. तो एक स्मॉल कैप से निकल जाओ, अगर पैसा अच्छा बन रहा है आपका, उस दूसरी स्मॉल कैप कंपनी में चले जाओ जो आपको अच्छी लग रही है. बट डू नॉट रिड्यूस योर एक्सपोजर एज ए पार्ट ऑफ योर पोर्टफोलियो एलोकेशन टू द स्मॉल कैप कंपनीज.
Okay, this next question by Anil. Good evening, Sunil sir. Please advise me on wall-time transformers.
So I have not looked at this company for a very, very long time. So maybe whatever the score of the company is available, I would suggest please go with that score because I don't have any view on that company, to be very frank with you.
Okay. Yeah. Moving on to this next question. This is by Mr. Nandagopal. Do you feel that the BRICS development will impact the dollar and when it is likely going to happen?
I don't know, sir, which development you're referring to BRICS ka. I think the BRICS as a concept was very much in vogue before the global financial crisis. India and China are at the lower heads. Russia is having its own problem, internal as well as external with Ukraine, and internal because of the coup that happened last Saturday or Sunday. Brazil having his own challenge, South Africa having his own challenge. So I don't know which development we are talking about, Nandagopalji, which I am not able to relate to. And will it impact dollar? I don't know the development. So if not, what the comment I can give you. But if you are talking about dollar being replaced by some of the BRICS country currencies, the answer is no. I don't think it's going to be so easy. I think dollar will continue to have a very dominance in the global trade. But if Nandagopalji puts it, just Jason, do let me know what development is he referring to.
Okay, I'll just make a note of this. This next question by Mr. Satish Reddy. Dear Sunil, yesterday in Economic Times, it is said as per RBI data, 10% of loan EMIs are getting defaulted. How do we need to see this trend?
So, I don't think I've read across this article which says 10% of loan EMIs are getting defaulted. If what you are saying is right, then it could be a little cause of concern. Also, we need to understand who are defaulting. Which loan? Is it unsecured loan or the secured loan? We need to look at it. But what I was reading yesterday night, the report from the RBI and the financial, the banking stability report, financial stability report, FSR, the subprime component of the total loan was only 22%. Balance was either prime or super prime and so on and so forth. So I'm not so much concerned. In fact, on the contrary, RBI seems to have gone on the record saying that NPA level will further come down. If you look at my slide, which I was making a presentation, where the NPA level came down very, very, what we call smartly, am I right? And RBI does believe that further it will come down this one, NPA. So I'm not very sure that it's a cause of concern. Just to give you a data point, the gross NPA for FY 2023 was 3.9%. And RBI believes that for this financial year, that is FY 2024, it would be 3.6%. So is it a cause of concern? The answer is no. But Satish ji, my question and my request to you is just please go through that where that article got published which says 10%. I also read Economic Times. At least I read Bombay edition of Economic Times. You must have read of Hyderabad. Please go through that. I don't think that that's what RBI suggested or something. And if that is so, I've completely missed it. But if you look at Mota, RBI is saying there is no kind of a risk to the Indian banking system as we speak.
Okay, we got this really interesting question by Ankur. He says people like Vijay Kedia, Sunil Singhania, Dolly Khanna, etc. have disclosed current holdings on public platforms. It'll be a nice to copy yours and Mohit sir's portfolio for creating alpha. Any thoughts?
I cannot take about Mohit, but I can at least talk about myself. Vijay Kedia, Sunil Singhania, Dolly Khanna, they are market gurus. I am still learning the stock market tricks. And hence, to compare with them, such a stalwart is not very fair. Actually. So I'm not at all comparable to them. And hence, doesn't make sense for me to disclose what my portfolios are. I think what we are getting confused with Sunil Sanghania is that Sunil Sanghania is not disclosed his personal portfolio. What is the fund that is invested, that abacus, that is invested in Velicom, that is getting disclosed to the best of my understanding. Okay, so I don't think Sunil Sanghania's personal portfolio is available in a public domain. But even if it is available, I am no match to them. They are very, very big stalwart. I am still learning the stock market. And Mohit, I think ideally you should ask him. I'm not privy to what kind of portfolio he has. He can only respond to that. So next time when Mohit comes, please ask that question. Maybe Mohit can only respond to that.
Okay. Moving to this next question. This is by one of the investors. Damaniaji, do you think IT sector recovery will happen in second half of 2023?
My personal belief, yes, it should happen. A lot of negatives are there in the price, and risk reward is very, very favorable. So my belief, strong belief is that yes, it should happen.
Okay. This next question, this is by Mr. Umakan. Sunil, by looking at the market rally, your Nifty 50 index will hit 21,100 mark in next 4 months, much before your prediction of December. Are you still sure of your target on Nifty 50?
तो that's the beauty about the market, you know. हम लोग सोच लेते हैं कि जो ट्रेंड चल रहा है रिसेंट, you know, that's called the recency bias. मार्च 2020 में एक बार 23 में जब मैं बोला था हो जाएगा 20,100, people are not willing to believe only. कैसे होगा? And because people have seen market going down continuously for 4-5 months in a row. Now is exactly opposite. Now we are saying it will happen much before the market का जो है. See, remember, market is going to remain a little choppy. It's not that don't expect that market will not give any corrections. It will give meaningful corrections in the interim in next 6 months. But we continue to believe that yes, the target that we have given for Nifty 50 will get achieved by December 2023. Fortunately, touch wood, we have a very good track record. Whenever we have predicted about Sensex or Nifty, whenever we predicted about the bottom that market can touch, of course, this is all probability. We predict. But unfortunately, they have come true. So we continue to maintain our target. We are not revising our target. We do expect market to remain a little choppy, and don't expect market to keep moving up only. We will see some meaningful corrections in next 6 months. But by December 2023, Nifty would be 20,100.
Again, it's the next question by Mr. Alkesh. Suzlon Energy share prices are continuously rising. What's your take on its turnaround story?
So it may be a turnaround story, sir. I'm not a big fan of Suzlon. It always gives some hope, and then it does not live up to that expectation. It has done extremely well. I do understand. I wouldn't be very comfortable, okay, buying it. And normally what I've seen is that company like this, there could also be a speculative element. I must tell you that. So be careful. Right now it's a hold. So going by the IP Alkesh, if you already bought the Suzlon, you can hold. Should you buy fresh buy from this level? The answer is no.
Okay, this next question by one of the investors. So as metal production is highest, will the cost of metal stocks may fall or rise?
Metal production is highest, cost of metal stocks may fall or rise. I'm not very sure, sir, what is your question? Why cost of metal stocks? Matlab, the price of metal price, that's what we are saying, may fall or rise. See, right now there are too much negative there in the complete metal space. Am I right? And there is a big hope that China may announce a stimulus. If that happens, I think there could be a demand back for metal. Again, my personal belief, I may be 100% wrong. So please, these are all probability I'm talking about. नहीं आप लोग तो क्या मेरे वर्ड सेंटेंस को पकड़ लेते हो फिर बोला आपने उस दिन ये बताया था क्या हुआ. I do believe that metal companies and metal prices may start moving up in second half of 2023. There is a high probability that can happen because probability is very, very high that China may announce a stimulus to revive its toll economy. And if that happens, it can create a demand for the metal and in turn, the metal stocks. So my sense is that second half of 2023 should belong to metal companies.
Okay, this next question by Ankit. Credit card NPAs are also increasing as per RBI report. Is this another potential worry as it unfolds?
So Ankit ji, this is a risk that is called unsecured loan credit card, and it's a risk. We must admit that, and we need to be very, very watchful of that. In fact, this fact I have stated some time back also. In fact, remember there are two things we have been kept saying since beginning of 2023, and you people may remember if I repeat that. Number one, the NPA levels of banks. Normally, what we have observed that when the rate of interest goes up, the NPA tend to start moving up. That's what this. And number two, the NIM will come under pressure. That is, net interest margin will come under pressure. Now, one of the reasons why NPA can go up is because these credit cards are unsecured loans. Okay, and people tend to go overboard with the credit card spend. Because what they think, okay, महीना बाकी है ना देख लेंगे तब तक कुछ ना कुछ इंतजाम हो जाएगा. When that doesn't happen, it converts into starts turning into an NPA. So that's a danger that we need to be very, very watchful of, and we are going to keep a close track on that. So maybe the Satish was talking about 10% increase in this one. Maybe he may be referring to the credit card only. We need to wait and watch. But if my memory serves me right, the total unsecured loan, one second, I'll just tell you because I did some data. One second, I'll just tell you. Because I was looking at some data yesterday. Yesterday night I was out for a meeting full day. And then when I reached home, I was reading this RBI ka report. So, if you look at it, the total consumer, which is not housing, okay, in the system is near about I'm not able to. It's near about 12 or 13% of total. So it is a big. I'm not saying it's not a big, but very small portion of that. Will it destabilize the banking sector? The answer is no. My answer is no. So that's not going to happen.
Okay, this next question by Sridhar. Good evening, sir. The Mirza International is down from the 350 level. I'm having this script in my personal portfolio. Is it better to hold the stock or sell and book losses?
So Sridharji, I think Mirza International also did the demerger, and that the drop in the prices also could be a function of the demerger. Am I right? The company that's going to get red tape is going to get listed. I don't think it's got listed, but it should get listed. We were holding this company in our Infinity portfolio. We exited it. So, if you ask me, I would recommend it to exit. Second thing, if you look at some of the company which is related to this kind of a business, I've also seen the fancy coming down. They have seen some amount of, so investors' fancy is also on a decline. So my answer would be, please move out.
Okay, this next question, a couple of investors have asked this today. This one by Mr. Manjunath. Sunilji, I have JK paper in my model portfolio. It's 25% down. Can I add more now?
I wouldn't recommend add more, but we have not exited JK paper. We may decide in the future date, but right now we continue to hold only on the hope. We believe the risk reward is in our favor of reward. But please don't add more. Right now, whatever you have, please continue to hold. We are looking at all paper companies on a daily basis. I must tell you that I'm keeping a track of all paper companies on a daily basis. So we are keeping a track of that. That's the thing. So that's why I don't want to recommend you to buy right now.
Okay. Moving on to this next question. This is Mr. Ayappan. What's your opinion on automobile companies like Tata Motors, Ashok Leyland, Pricol Limited, etc.?
So I think auto companies have done well. Even our Tata Motors, I think the score has improved very significantly. एक minute, just can you see my screen, Jason? Tata Motors have become now a buy in our system, strong buy, 80 with a score of 80. So yes, it does make a sense to buy Tata Motors. Ashok Leyland is also, I think the commercial vehicle demand is going to remain little robust. I think if my memory serves me right, I think 4 to 5% growth would be there, and Ashok Leyland has gone on the record saying that they would grow faster than the industry. So our score on Ashok Leyland is, let me see that, sir. Ashok Leyland is also strong buy. Maybe you can look at that. And the Pricol, let me see Pricol. Pricol is also buy. So all three companies are buy. In fact, so you can go ahead and buy in case if you wish to buy Pricol, Ashok Leyland and Tata Motors.
Okay. Next question by Sudha. I think she might be a new Mojo professional investor. She's asked that, dear Sunilji, when we can expect your announcement on the next stock of the month?
Ma'am, on 9th of July. So normally we release our stock of the month just before 10th. So this would be on 9th. So 9th is what? 9th is a Sunday. So maybe on 8th, I think you can expect us to release the stock of the month.
Okay, this question by Govind. Can we buy Triveni Turbine at this price?
So Triveni Turbine, I think it did extremely well. We have been holding this company in our model portfolios as a Mojo stock. It's a strong buy. You can definitely buy if you wish to buy at this point.
Okay, this question by Sumit. Exide is doing well. Why is the score just 61?
Sir, Exide is also a stock of the month, Sumitji, and I think it's been given about 20% or so return. Why score is 61? See, our score is a function of quality, valuation, recent quarterly financial performance, and technical. Now, the price movement impacts two dots, that is valuation and the technical. Am I right? But the CFT is a function of quarterly numbers. Now, the quarterly numbers will come only when the company declares June numbers. And quality also is a more sturdy kind of a stuff. It doesn't change so often. So that's why the score is 61. If the number comes out good and CFT score improves, this company can further become a buy. Right now it's a 61. The score is hold.
Okay, this question by Mahesh. So you told about the correction on market would be the time to invest in mutual funds. If so, what category will you advise on?
I don't think, sir, I've ever advised that you please start investing in mutual fund when the market corrects. On the contrary, I say, do not try to time the market. महेश जी किसी दूसरे एक्सपर्ट ने आपको बताया होगा दूसरा कोई वेबिनार में मैंने कभी नहीं बताया ऐसा and what I've observed, this is my personal opinion, that normally mutual funds don't tend to add value to the shareholders. Why? Because they normally underperform over a longer period of time. Maybe they may do one year and the same scheme may underperform second year and so on and so forth. If you are very serious about creating alpha, then you need to take in help of the experts. Okay, like you can come to our PMS, a business or create a model portfolio in this one. But if you are happy with the market performance, then I would suggest go with ETF, Nifty ETF or something. Why? Because it will mimic the same returns that Nifty 50 will give you. That's the best way you can go. And Nifty 50 may you can refer our mutual fund section and you can pick and choose which ETF you wish to go based on our, because we do have a buy, hold and sell on each and every mutual fund scheme.
Okay, speaking about PMS, Malik has asked this question. Can you please mention some features of the upcoming PMS and what all could we be able to do once the PMS is launched?
So we will do a formal launch with all of you. I understand, Malik ji, you are a little excited to know about that, but we will come in front of you. The complete team will come in front of you, and we will launch. So I don't think it will be right on my part to discuss more about that. Mohit will discuss. We have a new CEO for the PMS, Salini Sekhri. She will also be part of that, and maybe Joy sir would also be there, and they will come in front of you, and we'll discuss more about that in a near future.
Okay, this question by Sunil. So will GNA Axles recover? It's been in negative since it came in the Mojo portfolio in Feb 2023.
No, so what is the question? Sorry, it's not.
Will it recover? Stock?
Of course, yes, it can recover. That's one of the reason it has remained as a part of our Mojo stock almost for 5.5 months. It is there. It should recover. Otherwise, if it had not been, it would have moved out of our Mojo stock list and even our model portfolio. We believe that it can.
Okay, moving to this next question. This is by Frank. Hello Sunil, so what's your take on Hero MotoCorp now? Please advise what to do with the script.
See, so Hero MotoCorp did come under some amount of a corporate governance related issue because of, there was income tax inquiry because of certain expenses have been this one, so on and so forth. Management denied that, but it does create this amount of a scare on the company. Right now, the Hero MotoCorp is a buy, but it's all depending upon what happens to the monsoon. It's a very critical factor. Why? Because Hero MotoCorp is mainly into bikes, and bikes are basically more of a rural product than the urban product. And if for some reason, if the monsoon is not good, for some reason, it could impact the demand for the bike, and that could be a little detrimental. So right now, it's a buy in our system. Should you allocate? Allocate, but don't allocate too much right now on Hero MotoCorp.
Okay, this question by Brino. Can we buy Craftsman Automation at this price?
So Craftsman Automation, its score is 70. If you wish to buy, yes, you can buy. I think the complete auto ancillary should be doing reasonably well. Am I right? So yes, if you wish to buy, you can buy. It moved up very substantially in last 1 and 3 months, but I think based on our IP does give us a feeling that it can outperform even further from this level.
Okay. Moving on to this next question by Bangaria. My question is, as NPF banks have come down drastically, do we expect the sector to perform good in the future? And the second one is that vegetable and food inflation is increasing. How do you foresee this?
So Bangaria sir, I think it's a brilliant question. My personal belief is that a lot of good things are there in the price for the banking sector. I am personally of the opinion that NPA level have hit the bottom. Usse zyada don't expect further decline in the NPA level. That's what my personal opinion is. So, and I did mention when someone asked me about the question, I did mention that NIM could come under pressure for the banks. And if that is there, I think then it becomes a little difficult for the banking as a sector to outperform. Some banks will do well. So let's don't get confused with the company-specific banks and the overall sector. My views are for the overall sector. So that's one. And second question is, yes, I think the food and vegetable prices are increasing. That could be a challenge. And we also must remember how the monsoon plays out. If you remember, when we did a presentation, one of this same topic webinar, we presented how food inflation across the world is coming down. Probability is very high. It can start turning upward. I think the biggest risk as I speak to you, all of you, is that somewhere inflation which has started coming down across the world can start inching up. Why? Because of the low base effect. And if China is to announce some kind of a stimulus, it will put some flare up and road some flare up on metal prices and so on and so forth. And that's a one danger that we must remember. If you read experts after experts, they have been warning the central bankers that please be not in a rush to reduce the rate of interest, and please hiking rate of interest because inflation is going to remain more stickier than everyone believes so. So I think that's a challenge that we must remember, and we must keep a very close eye on that on a month-to-month basis.
Okay, this question by Mr. Sivasamy. Karnataka Bank is flying high in 2 sessions. What suddenly changed for the stock? Can we buy it now?
No idea, sir. I don't know what happened to that bank. I have not looked at this bank for a very, very long period of time. So hence I will not be able to comment. But yes, you are right. It did extremely well. It was up by today 10%. I was not aware, to be very frank with you. And 1 week is up by 25%. Going by my past experience, whenever, and just do a Google search, you will get an idea why Karnataka Bank was up. If at all there is a reasoning for that. So I am not aware, so I don't know. But normally what I've observed is that sometimes when the script goes up substantially, we do see some amount of profit booking coming in. So be careful when you decide to get into Karnataka Bank. Right now in our system, it's a hold. It's not a buy.
Okay, Mr. Sunil, that's with the Q&A session for today.
So 5 trend we discuss about today. Very, very interesting trend that we discuss about. We do expect market to remain little volatile. Yes, we do understand that market is at all-time high, but don't believe that this trend will continue month after month. There will be a month where we will see some amount of a profit booking. There will be a month where we will have a fresh buy coming in, so and so forth. So please do expect market to remain volatile, and that's how we should look at the market. With this, thanks a lot everyone taking time out and attending this webinar. Thanks a lot, Jason, for hosting this webinar. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mr. Sunil, and thanks a lot everyone for attending today's event. We'll be shortly sending you all the invites for the upcoming webinars. Goodbye and have a great weekend. Thank you so much.